In this video, I want to talk about how Michael Burry is once again preparing for another AMC and GameStop squeeze, how the shorts are already starting to turn on each other, and how Trump is exposing manipulation. So stay tuned and let's make some money. So let's dive straight in with the key information. So, the other day, Michael Burry, and it's the real Michael J. Burry account on Twitter, tweeted saying that sometimes we see bubbles, sometimes there's nothing to do about it, but sometimes the only winning move is not to play. Now, as a bit of a recap, you may already know, but Michael Burry is famous for shorting the housing market back in 2008 and accurately predicting that recession. On top of that, he was buying GameStop through 2019 and 2020, ready for the 2021 sneeze. And now, as of just a few days ago, he's once again telling us that he can see another bubble and he's ready. Now, before I tell you more about Michael Burry's plan for the squeeze, I wanted to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Foremost Clean Energy. Ticker symbol FMST on the Nasdaq. It's already up 264% over the last 6 months, so it's definitely one to keep on your radar for a quick one tomorrow. Throughout 2025, President Trump has signed numerous executive orders, not only to unleash American energy and bring energy production back into the United States, but to boost nuclear energy capacity, like with his recently announced $80 billion deal to build nuclear reactors. AI, data centers, and electric vehicles are all driving up electricity demand. And these tech giants like Amazon, Google, and Oracle are increasingly turning to nuclear energy, installing small modular reactors. Meta have even announced plans for a $10 billion AI data center powered by nuclear energy. Just to the north of the US border lies one of the most promising uranium jurisdictions, the Athabasca Basin in Saskatchewan, Canada. Foremost Clean Energy is a North American company which controls 10 uranium properties on that exact Athabasca Basin and is actively drilling multiple projects right now. What truly sets Foremost apart is its powerful relationship with Denison Mines Corporation, a $2.5 billion uranium producer, and it's one of the sector's most respected operators. And Denison isn't just a partner, it's one of Foremost's largest shareholders, owning roughly 19% of the company. And through this alliance, Foremost gains operational expertise, access to capital, infrastructure support, and a clear pathway to production. On top of that, FMST is tightly held and highly leveraged to the upside. With only about 12.67 million shares outstanding, the company's share structure is exceptionally lean. Earlier this year, the FMST stock surged over 550%, peaking around $5.70 per share, before consolidating to today's price around $3.32 as of Friday, a classic bull flag formation. So research Foremost Clean Energy today. Trading on the Nasdaq under the ticker symbol FMST. Not only that, but this Greg account pointed out saying that Michael Burry just came back to post about a bubble, but also changed his banner photo to a bunch of apes. If we go to the Michael Burry account, we can see that his banner photo is indeed a photo of apes. Stonks Batman has put everything together here and has tweeted saying that I believe Wall Street as a whole is majority long on blue chip stocks and short on meme stocks. The bubble that Michael Burry is referencing is likely in reference to AI and quantum, obviously with companies like Nvidia hitting a $5 trillion market cap, other companies out there like Palantir with a 600 plus price earnings ratio, and other companies like quantum companies valued in the billions after generating $0 in sales. We've spoken for a while now about how these hedge funds, institutions and market makers are pumping these blue chip stocks, pumping the Magnificent Seven stocks for liquidity purposes. And Stonks Batman says when the average person stops buying the blue chips and when the blue chips crash, he says he feels the desperation for liquidity could cause backstabbings on Wall Street, either by causing a further squeeze on blue chips so they have the cash to close out of short positions, or when these blue chip stocks crash, they end up being margin called on their shorts. That's of course because they won't have the liquidity to meet those margin requirements and those margin calls. And as X-Market News has pointed out, the backstabbings on Wall Street have already started, as hedge funds are turning on each other amid the SEC probe. Now, if you've seen some of my previous videos, you'll know all about the lawsuits that both Citron Research and Andrew Left and Anson Funds have been embroiled in over the last couple of years. There was whispers that the CEO of Anson Funds was throwing other hedge fund managers under the bus in order to receive a plea deal with the SEC and the Department of Justice. But now Citron Research and Andrew Left is in turn suing Anson Funds, saying the hedge fund lied to the SEC about payments in their trading probe. So not only are they throwing each other under the bus, they're turning against each other already and suing and countersuing one another. And it won't be long until more and more hedge funds end up being thrown under the bus and likely throw other hedge funds and other hedge fund managers under the bus as well in order to receive better SEC DOJ deals. Now, on top of that, I also want to talk about how President Trump is once again exposing the stock market and is planning some massive crackdowns. First, let's listen to this very quick speech.
You know, in the old days, when you announced good news, the stock market went up. You announced good news, the stock market would go up. Now when you announce good news, the stock market goes down because people say, oh, that's terrible. You're doing well, that's terrible. Interest rates will go up. So they think because of that, interest rates will go up because that. It's inverse of what it should be. We're going to go back to the way it used to be. When we announce good news, the stock markets are going to go up.
So that right there is Trump explaining firsthand that these days, when you announce good news, stocks and the market as a whole seem to go down, when in reality what should happen is that you announce good news and stocks go up. And Trump has said he's taking us back to the old days. He's going to make some massive changes, some massive crackdowns, so that things make sense. Now, obviously, this ties in brilliantly to what the White House tweeted or reposted just a few days ago and how Trump is already exposing the market. Of course, you'll remember from my previous video, President Trump and the White House tweeted this tweet saying power to the players. Of course, retweeting a tweet from GameStop with an Elon Musk comment as well, and other political members also joining in on the hype. Now, I've got here the GameStop chart so we can go through as a play-by-play exactly what happened after that tweet was posted from the White House. Of course, on Monday, GameStop gapped up, admittedly not nearly as much as you'd expect from a tweet from President Trump and the White House, but we still saw a gap up from around $23 per share to around $24, $25. But since then, after that brilliant news, that brilliant publication, that brilliant exposure of GameStop to the masses, almost a backing of GameStop from President Trump, GameStop fell from $24, $25 every single day until Friday, closing at lows of around $22, $22.30. So after some brilliant news, a brilliant repost and republication from the president itself, GameStop went down over 10%. This is exactly what needs to be fixed in the market. When good news is announced, stocks should go up, not down due to manipulation. Now, X-Market News also pointed out that this very speech was given in Korea. Korea is a country that has previously banned short selling outright with masses of success. This obviously was back from 2023 when it happened, when the initial ban was announced on the 5th of November 2023, and just look at that reaction in the overall market after short selling was banned. Now, obviously, I'm not skipping ahead. I'm not saying short selling is going to be banned next week, but what I am saying and what Trump himself is saying is that changes need to be made. So guys, be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always, guys, be sure to hit that notification bell, because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers.